Baby, let me tell you. When I tell you your girl cuts up, your girl cuts up, honey. Hi you guys, welcome back to my garden. So I've really enjoyed the lion fountain area, and I keep reminiscing to what it looked like from the springtime, the summertime we came in. We had a beautiful show in the summertime. Everything showed out, and I really enjoyed the lion fountain area, you guys. This is probably going to take me a few days to get everything together, but that's okay. But I'm going to invite you guys along with me as we go ahead and we get this area shaped up for the winter time. Because hey, why not? We definitely should be going out with a bang, right? A few weeks ago, we came in, we pulled out the myrtle evergreens. The myrtle evergreens are now in the sunroom where they've been being housed. This is going to be the year of the wreaths and the magnolias in my garden. You guys, I love a good theme, and I certainly love a good theme when you can definitely make it your own, pick different varieties. So I've used wreaths at my front entryway. We did some beautiful containers to flank the front entryway, and I showed you guys some of my tips and tricks on how you can save money when you're doing your containers for winter. Because let's face it, you guys, with inflation, it's hitting everybody hard. So I'm looking for ways to save money in my garden, and I hope that I can be an inspiration to show you some of the ways that I have found to save money throughout the years of gardening, because I've been gardening for years, you guys. I'm going to turn this beautiful area into my own personal wintertime oasis. I love to come out here. I love to sit down, enjoy coffee. I take Zoom calls out here, you guys. I have conference calls out here in the garden in the wintertime. What I'm going to do is we're going to start styling these urns. Now here I have a collection of urns that we brought in last year. We moved out some beautiful, big, huge terracotta pots. We took those terracotta pots and we stretched them along my fence line here, because I have a fence that flanks this entire area. It creates enclosure, because in my garden I like to have garden rooms. Things I regretted most was not having my garden set up on drip tubing. Now I've set plenty of my friends and family's garden up on drip tubing, but I hadn't actually taken the time to set my own garden up. So I think it's time that I do a little self-care for myself and go ahead and set this up, because you guys, I had a beautiful show in the summertime and I was out of town quite often, and that was one of the things that I regretted, was not having my garden set up on drip tubing. So let me go ahead and grab the drip tubing for us. Alright, so I have my drip tubing here. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, we're going to feed this down through the bottom here. Clean some of this out first. Alright, so I made my cut here, so let's go ahead and get some soil in there. We're going to place a wreath here. I have these gorgeous obelisks here. They're metal. I like them. They're versatile. I like to use this size right here on a small as well as a big container because it's very versatile. You don't have to, as long as it can fit in right here, then you're fine. You see that? So now one thing you can do is you can come in and you can use this just like this, shaped this way. And we are going to have these coming anchored. So we have our boxwood wreath. Now we have this piece right here. You may be wondering, why am I using white lights instead of green? Because we're going to give this a twist. Okay, so we're going to come in. We're going to guide this up underneath. Let me take this off for a second. So we're going to feed these lights inside of this ball. Now this is the most time consuming part right here. We're going to unplug the fountain. We will get the fountain cleaned up, probably in a separate video, but what I want to focus on right now is I definitely want to focus on putting all of my hardscape in place as far as my fountains here. You all know gardening is a work in process, so the garden is ever changing. So I'm not necessarily concerned that I don't have my fountain properly shut down. I will go ahead and shut all of my fountains down at the same time. But I am going to go ahead and unplug the fountain here because I want to give a test out just to give you guys a little sneak peek of what this is going to be looking like. So let's go ahead, find the cord. And I do like to keep my fountain cords red instead of trying to make them blend in, so you can actually see, you know, when you're cutting something, you see this red line here, you know, to go ahead and stop, versus it blending in, you know, you might not be able to see it. So let's go ahead, let's turn on this globe so you guys can get a little sneak peek on how everything is going to look. All right, now we have a sphere. Yes, honey. Baby, let me tell you. When I tell you your girl cuts up, your girl cuts up, honey. Years of experience, trials and errors. I cuts up, honey. But this ball, we can't have this out here representing like this, so we are going to be topping this off. So we'll head inside. Actually, you know what? I've had a long day. I'm getting ready to, we'll pick this video up tomorrow. First and foremost, I have this lemon cypress here, but I got a grump tree from one of my colleagues. So what I immediately did, this was actually wrapped all the way up. So what I immediately did was I went in and I took all of the wrapping off around it. It had like a little cheap little Christmas ornament on the top of it. So I went ahead and I took that out. Now this does come inside of a container, but it's stuck on the inside of this bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to pop out this tree right here. because it's about to go down, honey. It's gonna be a window box to rival all window boxes right now. We are getting ready to go in and we're gonna give this window box a winter time refresh. Now, if you're like me, and maybe I'm just putting my feelings or the way that I feel off on some of you all, but I'm so excited and ready for just the winter holiday to have a break from the garden, from our garden chores. Now, let me go ahead and say this. 9 times out of 10, come December, January for sure, I'm going to want to get my hands in some dirt, and not just in a container, because I continue to plant up beautiful containers throughout the winter season. So we still put content out over here on Garden Queen. I want to go in and I want to make this area a winter ambiance. I want to give this area a winter vibe like never before. I'm so excited, and you guys, we are going to start with the window box. All right, so I went ahead, I cleaned up the window box. Now, what we're going to do, if you get in close, you can see where we have some dead foliage here. That is typically normal, but if it bothers you, feel free to go ahead and back a little bit. Here, so we're just going to get in and we're just going to clip that out of there just to make it a little bit more sightly. I'm going to clip here. And if they don't make it this season, they're not really that much of an investment. Although I would like for them to continue to stay in this window box and flourish a little bit. I'm going to get all of this out here. We'll grab this right here. Grab this as well. We'll get this out of here. I am going to cut a little bit more off of this tree. Okay. Okay. Ooh, prickly. That looks a lot better. The soil level is not really full and we have those dips. This is where we pulled out the plants that were there previously, so we do need to go ahead and fill in with some more soil. Filled the window box up with soil. Now I am ready to show you guys the plants that we are going to use, and it is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Let me go get them. Woo! You know what we need to do, because we are losing light, honey. We're losing light. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just get the plants out. We're going to go ahead, we're going to put this look together, and then we'll talk about what we use. Very simple, you guys. Oh, I'm going to be a window box to rival all window boxes right now. To save time, I'm going to go ahead, we're going to clean off this table real quick. Just move everything over so that way we can go ahead and get done. So let me go ahead. love it. I love it. Okay, now let's get into this window box look. So our thriller here is we have a spruce that we put in, a blue spruce that we put in the earlier parts of the season. You guys, I love blue foliage. I have a hedge wall full of Taylor junipers. They're perfect for creating hedge walls, but let's bring it on back to this. Love evergreens with the blue foliage. I love to use them in my garden in containers, but that is the plant that we have here, and that's going to be our evergreen look. So then I came in for our filler. I used a magnolia. So all of the components that we're using here, everything is real. Now the magnolia leaf that we're using, the stem that we're using, they're 100% real. You can pick these up from your floors. Those are the Bracken's Brown Beauty, and I love them because the leaf on one side, you have this beautiful shiny green leaf, and then to contrast that, on the back side, the underside, you have a velvety brown, and I feel like it just adds an extra element of interest. Then at the bottom here, we have some white roses. You guys, I have not lost my mind. I have not lost it. Yes, I know we're in November and we're heading to cooler nights, but you guys, I have roses right now in my garden that are actually blooming, putting on fresh blooms. And I am one of those ones that I like to live on the wild side a little bit. I feel like this sometimes you don't give the plants the credit that they need. So I came in with some beautiful creamy white roses, and then next to it we have a winter green, Gauthera. I love to use Gauthera when I am creating different holiday arrangements, different winter looks. I use them on the outside of my home. I also use them on the inside of my home. And so what we did was we started off on both ends. We have our roses to kind of give us that complete look. And then we went ahead and in between that, we added a Gauthera. Now, you guys, this is an easy look. Very easy to repeat, and if you can't find one of the plants, you can easily substitute it out for stems. Now I could have come in and I could have used Christmas stems. I could have added pine cones, but you guys, because I'm taking advantage of the warm weather that we have here in the St. Louis region. Now granted, we might have those nights where we dip down low. The only thing that is going to happen is we might get a little bit of purpling on our Gauthera here, and then we might lose a little bit of our leaves with our roses. Now, because the rose is a rose, it will start to put on some of that fall color, and it's absolutely fine. But this is going to get me over until when I come in and I start to do the winter look throughout my garden. As we go on and we continue in my past videos, I like to show you guys how you can save money on winter looks, because you guys, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. Gardening can be expensive if you make it. Now some of the things, some of the premium things, now the magnolia leaves were a premium. The magnolia leaf was kind of my splurge, but we can also say that the Gauthera was my splurge as well. Gauthera is actually a perennial plant. It is a perennial ground cover, and I want to say that the Gauthera is hardy to zones 3 to 9. 3 to 8. Here is our plant tag here. Can you guys see that? And then if we flip it around, zones 3 through 8. It's a lot of different things that you can use. You know, go outside and source things in your garden. If you can't find the magnolia stems, you can easily come in and just substitute the magnolias for hydrangeas. It would have been absolutely gorgeous to come in and do the same thing. And I actually have hydrangeas that I use just for my cuttings, and I have brought you guys along with me. If I need a longer stem and I need to cut into one of my hydrangea trees, you guys, I have brought you guys along with me. If one of my diehards has been with me since A1 day one, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Even if you are a new subscriber, thank you for coming along on the journey with me. But a few Christmases ago, we were doing some winter containers. We came outside into the garden, you guys, and we cut from the hydrangea trees. So that's one of the things. Go outside and look around and see what you can source. You want to remember that when you do your winter greens, right, when you're using fresh floral stems, everything that's living gets a fresh cut. So I went in and I gave my magnolia stems a fresh cut. Also, you want to make sure you continue to water, because the magnolia stems is going to continue to take up water. So you want to make sure that you're going in, you're adding water, and that way you'll get that look. Now, here is the thing. When you guys are using your wilt stop or your wilt proof, one of the things to keep in mind is magnolia stems do not like wilt stop. What it does is it gives them a black, just sometimes you'll see black spots on them, okay? Magnolia stems, when they dry, they will dry just like that, but the color won't be as vivid, but they will dry to where you can go ahead and continue to use your magnolia stems, okay? But I do not recommend putting wilt stop or wilt proof on the magnolia stems. You do want to put them on your evergreens, and I also use wilt stop, you guys, when I'm doing a fresh arrangement, and I also go in and I put wilt stop on my evergreens in order to get them and help lock in the moisture from the fall time until springtime. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to water this in. Now, when I do these arrangements, I like to create areas where I can go in. Sometimes I'll go in just like this, and I'll take my sprayer off. Woo! I'll take my sprayer off. That way I can get in and I'll water everything in, okay? So, woo. I would love to know down in the comments, have you started working on your winter look? Are you working on it? Are you giving those ideas out that you're going to be thinking about using your color schemes? Because I literally have every single area that I'm going to be doing for a winter look. I have the color down packed. I have a lot of the stems and the floral stems that I'm going to be using. And you guys, I cannot wait to share that with you. And I hope that you'll join along with me. I would love to know what you think about this window box here. Drop down in the comment section. You guys, I just love to hear the comments, you guys. They just really uplift my day when I get a notification and they come through when I log on and I see all of those notifications. They really lift my day. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Let's get it started. Yeah. Yeah, because it's about to go down, honey. Look at this. Look at this. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an amazing arrangement really quick. So these are our containers that we're using, brown terracotta. You guys, if you don't have any brown terracotta pots, you better get you some. If you do not have any brown terracotta pots, baby, you better get you some. Let's go ahead and let's just get this done. It's raining outside, you guys, just listen. So peaceful. So peaceful, you guys. I just love rainy days because you can really get so much done. Honey, when it comes to a rainy day, when I tell you I like to just work in my plant room, I like to get things done. But in this case, I have to dedicate this to getting this project done because I really should be ashamed of myself. All right, now what we're going to do is we are going to pre-hydrate our poinsettias here, okay? So we have the bottom of this filled with water. We're going to let these sit in here for a couple of seconds, and we're going to pre-hydrate these because again, it'll be easy to keep them watered, but we are going to want to make sure that we keep our poinsettias happy. But what's most important is going to be our amaryllis bug. Okay, fit some more in here. Okay, so while these are taking this water up, all right, now more than likely this is gonna fall apart. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and provide a little bit of water right here to our amaryllis bulb. Baby, this thing is happy. Oh, she's falling apart. Put her down a little bit deeper. Don't mind about the bulb sticking up. I don't care about that. Go in, and I am going to water my poinsettia from top. Okay. So now here we are. Everything is looking good, saturated. We don't have that much water left in the bottom of the bowl. So let's go ahead and get these in place. Sometimes you gotta forage in the city. Yeah. You want to buy in bulk. So 6, 8, 10. But I'm not gonna be in anybody else's yard, and I don't think you should be either. I'm gonna get creative here. Hi you guys, welcome back. Get on up in here, because today we're going to be going foraging for a beautiful arrangement. Now, foraging, we're not going out to a forest, we're not going out to the woods, and we're definitely not pulling over on the side of the highway to see what type of beautiful things that we can find to save money in our arrangements. I live in a small suburban town. I live in a St. Louis region. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to come outside and I'm going to forage my neighborhood, meaning my yard. I'm not going to be in anybody else's yard, and I don't think you should be either. But my neighbors have this beautiful birch tree. Matter of fact, let me see if I find, let me see. Okay. All right, perfect example. Can you guys see this? So this is from my neighbor's birch tree. Here, let me get up close so you can see it. You definitely can see it up against the pink here. But my neighbor has this beautiful birch tree, and I love it because the way that the stems are, and luckily for me, their stems, depending on the way that the wind is blowing, it blows in my yard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be foraging my front garden here, and I'm going to get some stems, and we're going to make a beautiful arrangement. And when we get done, if it's not your style to come in and use natural orientation things, then you might not love it, but I can assure you that it's definitely going to be beautiful. So let's get started.
place, a new home for a while. Let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back. Take my time.
Porch. We did not have to go far to find anything, and as I'm looking, I'm still even seeing more pieces of birch here. Some of them have the leaves on it. That's fine, because we'll just go in and we'll defoliate the birch here. So the type of birch that they have a river birch, and it's very beautiful. It's multi-trunked, you all, and I just love it. It's just the perfect addition to any garden, and I love it because it's almost like a borrowed landscape from their garden to mine, because my house is right there. So definitely beautiful. We're going to head inside now, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the arrangement together. I mean, you can see this one is as tall as me. Now I'm 6'5", you guys. So you can definitely see the type of treasures in the scale that you can actually do if you're doing like a real big, huge arrangement. Like I just did a large, huge arrangement for my girlfriend who was selling her home. And you guys, stems like these are perfect because it gives you the height. You get about maybe 3 stems like this, and then some smaller stems around the base of it. You guys, it can definitely give you a beautiful arrangement. So let's go ahead and let's start putting this arrangement together, because I'm very excited. I'm going to be using some wintergreens for this arrangement. I'm going to soak my wintergreens. That way I'm going to get longevity out of my wintergreens. Very simple. All you need is some water. Let them soak in. It's preferable to let them soak in overnight. If you start to see that your wintergreens are starting to look a little bit wilted, what you can do is you can take the arrangement down, or if you have an entire reef, you can pull the reef down. You can take out the pine cones, anything decorative that you added, flop it in some water, and then you'll start to see that your wintergreens are going to rejuvenate. For my arrangements, I go for more of a Christmas look, but for the majority of my arrangements, I like to go for more of a winter look. That way my arrangement can stretch from the winter time into the early spring, late winter, and then I'll start doing my early spring arrangements or my late winter arrangement. You know, you can't reveal too much. So we used nothing new in this arrangement, or shall I say, the only thing that was bought this season were 1, the winter green, 2, the magnolias, but I did not buy them for that project. They were actually left over from some beautiful containers that are in different areas of my garden. My birch logs I have on hand. I collect those from year to year. The big beautiful pine cones that you see, you all, I also collect those pine cones from year to year. So I have a lot of things that I can actually use to make containers in my garden. The birch stems that we use to give us that aerial effect for the arrangement, that came from my neighbor's tree, and I'm so glad that they landed on my property. We're losing light, but I'm so excited because I have a lot of things that I want to get done tomorrow. So early in the morning, we're definitely going to hop up and we're going to get started. Let me know down in the comments what you think about that beautiful wintertime arrangement. Sometimes you got to forage in the city. Yeah. Free 99. Free 99. Free 99. So I'm out here working on my lime. Now, limes are not deciduous trees. Limes hold on to their leaves throughout the winter time. So my lime tree has been going through a little bit of a struggle. This is sometimes what happens when you're trying to move those plants where the environment is meant to be outside and you're bringing it inside. So I came out, and as I'm spraying on this plant, you guys, you can see the leaves just dropping. Some of the leaves look a lot better, but this plant has defoliated a lot. And when I shake this, you guys, it's like a ton of leaves. So I am not going to throw in the bag just yet. I'm going to continue to spray. I'm going to keep the same regimen. Now, if the leaves had already been dried out, I cannot expect for the leaves to just magically replace themselves. So some leaf drop is normal, but I like to keep this watering can in this room, and even in the bucket of the watering can, you can see where there are nothing but leaves. So the lemon tree, however, is looking a lot better. The lemon tree does not have the type of leaf drop that the lime tree does. And I'm going to tell you what I think is the culprit to this situation. A few days after we came in, we sprayed this down, we watered it really well, I noticed that I came out here and it was literally so hot in here, guys. It was so hot, very uncomfortable, and I noticed that the temperature had gotten too hot. So for leaves that are already stressed, we definitely don't want to put it back in a fluctuating hot situation like that. So I'm going to work a little bit out here in my plant room, and I'm going to work on these trees real quick, and then we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next thing. I'm going to give it another spray, and this is what you do until you rehab it. And even spraying, you guys, is making some of the leaves fall off. That's okay. If it's going to make it, it's going to make it. If not, it'll just be one of those plant losses. I'm saturating these like really, really good. You guys, we're getting ready to make a beautiful floral arrangement. We're going to be using cut flowers. Look at this beautiful container, you guys. Look at that. It's very heavy. This is going to be our frog, and you guys, we are going to do a beautiful floral arrangement. Let's get started. I'm going to get creative here. Now, the bottom of this vase is hollow, but I want to use this. Now, I use this in my floral arrangements, but what I do is I take a small cup. I prepare my water. And then after I prepare my water, I go ahead, pour my water in there, plop it down inside of my vase here, my urn, my metal urn, okay? Now, you guys, very beautiful. And I might add a little bit more to it, I'm not sure. But we're going to make a beautiful arrangement. We're going to take this obelisk. This is going to be our frog here, okay? Going in with a tighter wire here. And that's because I don't want very much movement with my flowers here. So I'm going to add this in here. So a lot of times I'll put it in and then I'll fold it around, and be careful if you're doing this technique. If you try this technique, let me know. Glass, I have my water inside of that. I have my chicken wire, and then I have my obelisk, and I have my pottle wire to keep my obelisk in place. So now we'll go ahead and start placing the blooms. Turn this around, you can see that most of the flowers are here in the front, but in the back you can see some of our obelisk here, and this is going to be backed up against a wall, so we put most of our show in the front. You guys, if you're doing wintergreen containers, you can make this arrangement. Let's say if you wanted to go into the store and buy everything brand new, right? Now, you probably could get this total look for about 20 bucks if you already have a small obelisk on hand and an urn. You can't beat that. beautiful magnolia leaves that I have left over from one of the arrangements that I was doing. I'm going to work these magnolia leaves into a beautiful floral arrangement. But first, before we do that, we need to make a quick run to the grocery store, and I want to pick up some flowers for our arrangement. I'm sure they're going to have something good. If you don't have access to a wholesaler or have your vendor's license so you can walk around inside the wholesaler, and sometimes they have a minimum price that you have to spend in order to go in, the grocery store or your local florist will be a great source for your flowers. I'm also going to go ahead and design a fruit bowl, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's elevate our look. We're going to prep the water. So I'm just using the same container, the same design on the side here, and we're using it in two different shapes. It's really going to elevate our look as we give our layered look with our floral arrangement and our fruit bowl, you guys. The first thing I did when I got home is I went ahead and I popped these into some water. Clip the edges. I've showed you guys that before. I am going to clip all of the edges again. And sometimes they may get another cut while you're working with them. But I typically take off all the lower foliage for my roses. Although I enjoy them in the garden, I don't necessarily use them on my indoor arrangements. You guys, this is a beautiful flower. Gorgeous. Different tips and tricks that you guys can get to have your roses last a very long time. And although my vase is small here, my arrangement is going to be on the weighty side. We're going to do this arrangement really quick. I'm going to go ahead and prep my floral food so that way while I am de-leafing these roses, it'll have time to set in, because you want it to be well mixed. You don't want it to be concentrated and put your flowers in there. You want to try to get the best vase life ever. Go ahead and I'm going to clip my roses, and you can cut them at an angle, however you want to do them. I did leave some of my leaves on with my roses. And if it's anything that looks like it's bruised, like any type of bruised wood, then what I do is I go ahead and I cut that out. I'm going to add my water to both of these. A leaf fell down in there. And so for our frog, we're just using chicken wire, you guys. I hate to use my pruners for anything besides wood, but I gotta get this done. Kind of just take it and just kind of just bend it on up. And just place it inside of your vase here. Now this is going to be really easy to do, you guys. Same thing here. You can also take it and roll it in a ball. I do that sometimes too. It is a globe shape. It has the legs on it, and I pull this out. I change my stuff out often, in my kitchen, I like to have arrangements. Let me go ahead and dry this out. Dry it the best we can, and I'll address the fingerprints a little bit later. So I'm going to start to build my fruit in here. Nothing real special. I just like to put it in there so when they want to go in and enjoy some fruit, they can get to it easy. I have my pomelos, my apples. I actually can add some more fruit. I like to leave the spout on my pineapple, and I'll go in and I will add the rest of this fruit here. Alright, and so what I'll typically do is I'll take the leftover fruit and I'll put this in the other fruit bowl here. Sometimes I'll set the fruit bowl here and then have the arrangement coming, but you know what? I'm liking having the fruit bowl here so it can easily be reached. And then I'll have my arrangement just like that. Just these little simple things like this is ways that you can take and elevate your lifestyle and elevate your look in your home without doing anything out of the ordinary that you wouldn't normally do. I'm going to bump this up, move it far out here, move this right here closer to the arrangement. Okay, now one of the things you can do, you can go in, let's do that. Let's see how that looks. One of my videos, we painted these sticks. So when I paint them, I like to do a few of them at a time. So that way when I need them for arrangements, they'll be available. The only thing I'm doing now is I'm just going in and I am adding some fruit. Alright, so you just put the fruit in there. Now we're going to add the rest of these fruit inside the arrangement here. Alright, so now we're done.